A few months ago, I made a video about my Spanish level and why it's been lacking compared to my other languages. I'll link to the video if you haven't seen it before. The TLDR version of that video is I have trouble getting motivation for some of those languages that are really common. Spanish is the one I was talking about. I basically said I hate having judging ears always on my Spanish, picking it apart. Why did you learn that version of Spanish? In my country, we don't say that word. Your gringo accent is so thick. If that is some sort of mental block for me, why do I like the opposite? Why do I like learning languages that are rare? It's counterintuitive. I usually don't have difficulty finding motivation for those languages spoken in one or two countries. It's hard to define rare because you kind of need a reference point. German isn't a really rare language, but in the American education system, compared to French and Spanish, German definitely takes like a third, fourth, or fifth seat. Chinese is not an uncommon language, but it depends what variety of Chinese you speak. If you're speaking Mandarin, super common, but maybe in the context of the US, it could be uncommon because not many Americans learn Chinese. It just depends on context, but I just really am always pushed towards the rare languages. Why?
In case you haven't noticed, I'm weird. I'm a weirdo. I don't fit in.
I made a video a while back about what it's like to learn minority languages and what you can do if a language doesn't have a lot of resources. I will link that also because it could be useful for you if you're learning a rare language. One reason, which is the opposite of what I said in that Spanish video, is that I get more appreciation from natives. If it's not common to hear foreigners speak that language, the natives will be really impressed that you took the time to learn their really rare language. I don't have experience with the Dutch language, but online I hear language learners all the time saying how Dutch people are just shocked when someone learns their language. In my experience, I think Korean people are always pretty surprised when outsiders learn the Korean language. Turkish people are always really impressed when a non-Turkish person learns Turkish. And that's what excites me about languages the most, getting to interact with people being excited to talk to me. I enjoy that. It motivates me to go farther. Another reason I really like learning the rare languages is that imperfections are forgiven. When you speak a language that's really rare to learn, natives don't really pick at your language because anything is better than nothing. And when someone picks at your language, yes, it's helpful, but it also hurts your confidence at the same time. You have to balance the two, always. You have to balance your confidence with the language and a realistic assessment of your skills. Somebody needs to say, yeah, you've done great so far, but you should also work on this. With languages like Korean or Turkish, there isn't an expectation that foreigners learn their language, so when they do, what is there is good. People are happy with that bare minimum. But when it comes to English or French speaking countries, they kind of expect you to learn their language, and it's kind of like a given that you've learned their language. So a lot of people who come to English speaking countries and don't speak English can be looked down on, they can be disrespected, and disrespected not because they don't speak the language, but they don't speak the language perfectly. If you have an accent or the native just does not instantly understand you, they don't want to put any effort in, well, that makes it not exciting to learn a language. It feels like pulling teeth. When someone has some undue expectations on me, I kind of don't want to do it anymore. But when I am encouraged and people are proud of me and I see a genuine human connection with people, that's when I enjoy language learning the most. You don't have to be 100% perfect for people to be proud of your Korean. And that makes me want to continue learning the language. It's okay to be a learner. I think for English and French, it seems like it's not okay to be a learner. Either you're gonna speak it right or you're not gonna speak it at all. It seems like an all or nothing in those countries where those languages are spoken. Another reason I love rare languages, and it's really specific to the internet context, is that I can make a big impact on the body of work for that language. It's kind of complicated to explain, but basically, it's about how saturated the internet is with content for that language. English is really lucky because I think resources exist for every language you can think of. I remember when I would go to the university library and see what books they have, and they were language books for languages I've never heard of. I don't think you'll find the same thing when it comes to Bulgarian or Vietnamese. I think there's not as much resources in that language. I think it's fair to say that. But there's a huge difference in the body of work for Spanish resources for English learners and Slovenian resources for English learners. Where you're starting and where you go makes a big impact on how much content of that is created in the world. So for me as a native English speaker, I feel like I can make a bigger impact on the world by sharing my experiences and maybe some resources on the internet if it's a language that's pretty rare. As a Turkish learner, I am actually really excited when I see the content of other Turkish learners on the internet because it's not so common. When I see how to learn Spanish, that content tends to be really watered down. You're probably going to find Spanish resources or Chinese resources when just randomly scrolling through social media. It's made for bite-sized pieces. It's not made for enthusiasts. And if you're learning a language that's rarer, there's not that much in this category. So I am not a book publisher, I don't teach the language, but I can make a nice resource list. Just last week I made a resource list for German, and I think German learners might really enjoy that because if you're learning alone, you might want some direction, and that can help you. For Spanish, I think there's so many resources out there that my resource list is not a drop in the bucket. Talking about my experience with Spanish is not going to change someone's perspective on social media. It feels like there's so many other fish in the sea that you are nothing if you learn a super common language. So I really like that feeling of the rare language and I make a big difference. And you see a lot of interaction of people saying like, wow, I didn't know there was this many resources, or wow, I didn't know other people learned this language. It's really rewarding to see you made a difference. And it's really hard to make a difference with Spanish or French. It's kind of counterintuitive. You would think that if there's lots of learners, there's plenty of people to interact with you. But I kind of find the opposite because the internet is just so oversaturated with Spanish or Chinese resources. So I love that feeling. I love feeling like I'm making a difference even by just studying a little bit. A few weeks ago, I made a video about why Turkish hates me, where I talked about some things in Turkish that were really difficult for me. And I got a really good reaction to that video. It had a lot of learners and native speakers who were really excited to hear somebody learning Turkish. And I don't see that much of a reaction for some other languages. And I think that stems from Turkish being a little rarer to learn. Maybe this is just like gifted and talented education syndrome from the American school system that's making me feel like this, and I want to be special and I want to be the only one that does something. I don't know, psychology, I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you like learning rare languages? Why or why not? So thank you for watching today's video. You can follow me on my social media, which is linked below. If you like this video, give it a like and subscribe if you want to see more. I also have a website at studywithalex.com where I talk about language related things like this. So I'll see you for another video very soon, alright? Hoşça kalın.